You're listening to the Salty Sex Cast with Pamela and Mariah.
Yeah, and what's puberty?
The sex education you wish you had in high school.
Maybe a diagram will help.
Hello! And welcome back to the Salty Sex Cast.
Episode 66.
And today we're going to be talking about cross-dressing. But first, do we have any news or announcements, Mariah?
Yeah, thank you for asking, Pamela. I appreciate it. So some of you may know I already teach higher ed, but now I get to teach human sexuality at a local university. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
It was really exciting news. Like I am so excited. I love teaching, and I love sex and sex education, especially. Thus, the reason we have this podcast. But now I get to mesh the two, so I'm really, really excited for that. Not so great news. I have my very first ever fucking cold sore. I'm not okay with this.
Yeah, I am really surprised because usually people either get them when they're young, and then always get them their whole life, or they don't. So
And
now I'm a little afraid because I know I've been exposed to it before. Like 90% of people have been.
Most
exposed
people,
to it, so.
almost everybody carries that herpes strain, right?
Yeah.
But usually your immune system keeps it at bay. So you either have that or don't, I think.
I guess, but even when my immune system's been real low, I haven't gotten one. So I think there's like a genetic element too. Right. Some people are just more prone to outbreaks.
So I grew up in a house, everyone in my family gets cold sores. So it's like I was exposed to it all the time.
Yeah.
And then my husband gets cold sores, everything. And so I was like, yeah. And then we had a horrific trip to Colorado. Well, the trip was great. The coming home was horrific. Last weekend, and it was their fourth largest snowstorm they've ever had anyway, and it was just very stressful, very long trip, and also just life is stressful. So I'm like, maybe it was that. I also was sick the weekend before that, so maybe my immune system was already low and just something,
and the stress on top of it.
But we went with friends and we're all mixing drinks, and everyone's like, yeah, try this. So I'm like, I'm either getting Rona or I was like, well, we're either getting Rona or a fucking cold sore. It sucks. It's okay. Now I will never make fun of my sister ever again. I told her, I sent her a video, and I was like, karma sucks, and I'm so sorry, and I love you. But yeah. So dumb. Anyway, How about you, Pamela? Anything going on?
I don't have any really big news. I'm getting vaccinated on April 2nd. I'm very excited.
That really is good news. That really is exciting.
It really is.
Yeah.
Henry and Amanda and Bert have all already been vaccinated.
Oh, cool.
For different reasons. So
just work and things like that. And
their jobs and their age, in Bert's case. We teased him nonstop about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to wait until the general population. So, and that for Utah, that's in April.
Thanks. Yeah. Really exciting. So,
Brady,
what's your big news?
I have big news.
What's the newest addition?
Oh, yeah. We put in a hot tub. I forgot about that.
You forgot about that.
And so we're going to have a Salty Sex Cast bikini party.
Yeah.
At your house.
At the studio.
Yeah, at the studio.
Yep. That's the plan. I'm going to drag microphones out. We're going to do a show out there.
We're going to get electrocuted.
I don't know about having electricity that close to water, Brady. We've talked about this.
It can't be that bad.
It can't be that bad.
How many volts are going through a microphone?
Do you mean electrocution can't be that bad? Is that what you're saying, Brady?
By microphone in a hot tub, it can't be that bad. I mean,
if I'm going to die, I want to die half naked or naked, fully naked. Let's be honest.
I had to drag out I had to pull out all the stops as far as electricity goes to get the hot tub running. So it's hooked up to the highest amount of electricity that anything in my house will run off of. So the microphones don't concern me.
It's the actual hot tub.
The hot tub itself is going to kill you, I think.
This is the hot tub time machine, Salty Sex Cast edition.
Yeah.
Are you going to make us sign a release before we?
I am now because you brought it up.
Shocking. Love it.
Hopefully by the time you guys climb in, I'll have either died in the hot tub before you, and then I'm not worried about any lawsuits because I'll be in the great beyond.
Right.
Or if there's a
Or it'll be
chance of it, like,
fine.
we'll be all right.
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck it, I've done stupider things for less money.
Do I need to remind you that we don't pay him?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Constantly. It feels like
I've done stupider
constantly we
things that have
to
cost me
remind
money.
okay, there you go. Love it. So back to our episode and the subject. We had a listener reach out to us through our email address, which is saltysexcast@gmail.com. We are always loving when we are always loving. We always love. That's what I should say. When people reach out to us, let us know what's going on. We're always happy to answer questions, dedicate an episode. We felt like this one was a great episode to have because, there's a lot of people out there that probably experience this, and there's not a lot of hopeful, helpful, healthy information that supports that lifestyle and that curiosity and that side of those people. So we kind of brought it up. It was cross-dressing in a very limited sense, a very, tip of the iceberg is what we can kind of say, right? But Pamela, would you like to read what our listener wrote to us?
Absolutely. So we're going to call our listener just L, because they didn't tell us what pronouns to use, did they?
And they asked to remain anonymous. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, so I'll just use they. But our listener goes by L, and they say, I am a hot, sexy, bisexual, sex-starved woman trapped inside a masculine, heterosexual host. That being said, I have had an intense, feminine, sexy inner nympho inside, desperate to take over. I have felt this way since I was about 11 years old. I am really only comfortable when wearing soft, silky, and sexy women's clothing. I discovered panties at age 11 and have taken every possible opportunity to wear them ever since then. It is not necessarily a sex thing, but more like a deep need to satisfy the woman trapped in a man's body. However, some panties and other things like hosiery do arouse me sometimes.
Yeah, and this listener goes on to say, they're married to a female, and some things have gone on in their marriage, and she's supportive of this, and then things have kind of gotten maybe a little escalated, and where can we just support this couple? And
this listener also mentioned that they had lost relationships in the past because of this this interest of theirs. And so I think it's really important to address kind of the shame surrounding it, and just, that it's still socially acceptable, which I find a little bit crazy in a world where, so many things are now becoming acceptable. You can come out as quite a lot of things, but if you come out as a cross-dresser, I think there's still quite a bit of shame around that for people.
Right. I have to admit, one of my favorite aesthetics from the queer community is large beefy men with beards, and then they've just got this full set of makeup and big dingly earrings on a dress or something. I was like, I fucking love that. It's the best of both worlds just mashed together. I don't know, it's just so fucking fun. Anytime I see someone, I just want to be I just want to give you a high five because you look amazing. And this is so fun to look at, and you get to be yourself, and just everything that's really cool about that. Why are we separating those and saying they have to stay separate? And anyway, so I just had to say that's one of my personal favorite things.
So every time I experience and I don't know anymore because things have changed since then, right? With what you can come out as and how people identify. But you talk about the big bearded person dressed up as another person. When I was working for a local grocery chain, I got told I was going to drive a truck in the Pride Parade, which I thought was kind of funny that I got told, air quotes, because I would have volunteered for it. It didn't really bother me, but I was basically told you're the youngest guy who's probably less likely to fist fight these people. So you go. So I drove truck for this grocery chain, in the Pride Parade. And so I got to drive the boss's truck because he had a show truck. Had like, you know, it was a fancy truck compared. Yeah, it was just it was better looking than all the other trucks, right? And so he was very clear. I don't want you to smoke in my truck. I don't want you to do this in my truck. I don't want you to do that in my truck. But the one thing he didn't say was I couldn't let everybody in the Pride Parade climb in his truck and take pictures. And so we put these pictures all over the office. And shortly after, that was my truck.
Oh, nice.
Because he was an older gentleman with some prejudices. But
Some lack of understanding.
some lack of understanding for sure.
So why was he wanting to participate in the Pride Parade?
He was told to.
Oh.
The company decided we were doing that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so they sent me out to go drive the truck, but
Okay.
I got a brand new show truck. But like my favorite people were those exact same people. Because they were like, hell yeah, I'll climb up on your truck. And then they just sort of like daintily lift their skirt to put their high heels up on the steps. It was so cute and
Right?
funny. I loved it.
So fantastic. Yeah, I mean, we're slowly getting there. But when you maybe have this established partnership and you just know, okay, so I'm going to say hypothetically, you know, like my male spouse lets me know, hey, I like to wear women's underwear. I'd be like, okay, I don't understand it maybe, but it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't bother me, anything like that. But as it maybe increases or, you know, like our listener L has even talked about, bisexual, starved woman trapped inside a masculine heterosexual host. I think that's where it's kind of like maybe the reason there's a little bit of disconnect between them and their partner is because it's a changing fluid thing. And what I thought I had a relationship with, or, you know, who I thought I had a relationship with is shifting. And maybe that scares me. And this can go for anything. Absolutely
Yeah.
anything.
Oh, absolutely.
Today, obviously, we're talking about this, you know, as a cross-dressing, you know, specific, but it can be really anything that like slowly shifts. And it comes down to conversation,
Yeah, absolutely.
communication. But how does that actually happen in a relationship when you think it's already healthy and so you don't have to have a lot of these hard conversations and you're not prepped to have hard conversations either, or continual conversation? You got to check in so often.
Yeah, you know, it just occurred to me that like part of the reason it's such a difficult conversation to have is because there are no clear definitions for anyone, right? There's this intersection of kind of drag and cross-dressing and transgender or gender fluidity, I guess. And so there are all these questions around, well, what does that actually mean for you? You know, is this something that you want to do in private? Is this something you want to display on stage? Is this part of like a bigger picture identity piece? You know, and so that's why the communication is so incredibly important, because if you just say to someone, I like cross-dressing, I don't know what that means.
There's a huge spectrum.
There's a huge spectrum.
That like I'm like, hey, or you know, it's just underwear. Is it just the material? Is it that you see this sexy on somebody else, so when it's on you, that's where your mind goes? It's like this tangible reminder. It's almost like a tangible imaginative thing. Imagination. So, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I know
But
what you're saying though.
Yeah, like I would say that's maybe one of the starts of the spectrum, and then, you know, all the way to fully of I'm not the person I want to be at all. I really don't want to, you know, like I'm trapped inside this body kind of thing, and I want to completely be someone else, someone different. And I think that's that spectrum. Anyway, kind of looking at it, yeah. If someone said something, it'd be like, well, where are we at? And even if we're here today, I need to be prepared. It might shift. It might be more than just underwear. You know, it might be. And what is it? And do I need to express that I am uncomfortable at a certain point? I don't know. Yes, Brady?
I put on my ex-wife's panties once when we were still together. like just as a joke. And that was like one of the best nights of sex we ever had. Like not for me because I was wearing her panties, but it just like is like a joke. It triggered something in her.
Trusting and exploring with together too. And Justin's worn mine before, more as a joke. And
well, it's hilarious.
He's got the largest butt, and I was like, you're gonna rip them. So I was like, here's a pair that I'm like not overly attached to. And I was like, yeah, there's no way. Like it was just like one nut on each side.
Right.
It's great. Anyway, but that's not here nor there. It was just,
Well, I'd like to point out that this is actually a continuation of our previous conversations surrounding gender in general, and gendered expectations that men have to wear, X, Y, and Z type of clothes, where women are expected to wear the ABC clothes. And, there are cultures in the world where that just, it's not so binary, right? It just doesn't matter what you wear. And so I think a big
how
part,
you have your hair or anything. Yeah,
exactly. And so I think that a big part of this, learning the self-acceptance and moving past the shame is understanding that social construct, that this is all just society's label or, I don't know, kind of like veil that has been put on all of us, to tell us what we should look like and what we should wear. And
yeah. Obviously, we can't snap our fingers and tell society to fuck off and let's make a new definition and expectation.
No.
So, but I think hard conversations, and just being aware is the first step. So just awareness. What drives that need for you? Our listener says, they feel like they're trapped inside of this specific body, and they know that person that's trapped is a bisexual, sex-starved woman. I love that. So I was like, yes. Anyway, just how it was kind of, defined for them. They have been able to define where that is. Now I have this thing. It's very vulnerable for me to share this information with you. And you maybe don't understand or are uncomfortable or, because that changed from what we were at the beginning of our relationship and what I was imagining our relationship to be. It's like, how does that kind of start that? I think, again, continual conversations, safe conversations. What do those look like?
Well, like as the partner of someone who cross-dresses, you'd want to create a safe space, just letting them know you can talk to me about anything having to do with this, and I will not judge you for it. And I mean, that's going to be really hard for some people.
Yeah.
But if you love and care about that person, then you're going to come into it with as little judgment as possible.
Exactly. And there was, we did some research and kind of wanted to give some good advice, not just our own personal opinion, but, there's some suggestions on how to kind of continually have that open conversation, open dialogue, and be fully aware of the need of each partner. And one of them is, I thought was really unique. It's maybe not use date night for those hard conversations, because then you start to pull away from dates. Because now it's like, man, I'm going to kind of dread this, because maybe I'm going to have a hard conversation and say, I am uncomfortable with this, or I want to shift something, whatever that hard conversation might be. Right. So you're taking away from that bonding time.
That's just good advice in general.
Exactly.
Like, always set aside time to just have fun.
Yeah. And then one is to have it like a continual time period. So if it's like a monthly conversation, not when something shifts.
So kind of like a therapy session. Like I guess what I'm saying is when I know I have therapy coming up with a partner of mine, then I don't have to address it in that moment because I'm like, there's space that's been created for that, and I can wait because I think the conversation is going to go better in that space. And then it also like forces you to every week or 2 weeks or month or whatever it is, like this is going to be addressed again.
What is important for me to talk about right now? Yeah, exactly. And then I love just putting it on my list too before therapy, because then I get a chance to kind of ask myself, like, was that just a moment of me just being petty or ornery, or was it really a need that I need to talk about or something like that, So it's really a great time too when you have that date always on the calendar, or at least something always there. Not when something changes, because in the moment, if I have to say, like, hey, I'm uncomfortable, or I was bugged that you stole my underwear, I have no clue. I'm throwing out examples.
Sure.
Anyway, but yeah, that was, I think just something really, really great to think about. Another one that I thought was so healthy, and I would totally love to do this if my husband's handwriting wasn't jack shit. But having a shared notebook, like a shared journal, and like writing it, you can pass it to each other or just both of you write in it. I thought that was kind of a safe thing
for partners who can express themselves well that way, because not everyone can. So
and I think
considerate of that.
That's probably my number one way to communicate hard things.
Yeah.
Is I'd rather write it down. And now I've actually found, because that's not my spouse's, I found it's easier for me to first write it down, have it on paper, and then be able to communicate it later verbally. Anyway, I just thought the shared notebook was a really cool idea.
It is.
Especially, if you wanted to like label like pages and say like happy things and hard things or something like that, like too. So make those celebrations. I think too often we have too many hard conversations and not enough good conversations. But that was one. And then if your feelings change about your sex or gender, like you need to be willing to admit those and talk to your partner about those. So if it's like, hey, I thought it just started with underwear or maybe, just wearing clothing in the home, but now I really want to go start wearing it outside the home. Something like that, or change my name. Have you call me something different? This spectrum is just so great. So some of these examples may be way off base, but at least somewhat relatable on where you can go. So if anything changes, definitely make that point to say something. Don't try to hold it in because you're worried about any blowback or lie or skirt around it. I guess sometimes just that fear is really hard. So like having that trust already with that partner is hard, or is good to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being prepared on what might come back. Just because you're fully honest and you're prepared to share, hey, I want to share these feelings about this need, and then maybe your partner does not react well, still being ready for that.
Yeah. I think you have to decide with anything that's out of the ordinary, or as with anything that's out of the ordinary, you have to decide if it's more important to you than that relationship. Kind of like I had to do with Polly. It's like, well, is this so much a part of my identity that this is how I have to be, or is this something I can give up because it's too hard for my partner?
Yeah.
I think getting really solid on that before you have those tough conversations with your partner is good.
So some introspection, some time with,
introspection.
some time of your own self-awareness and your own needs.
Yeah.
What's the drive behind some of this? Is it because truly you feel like you're trapped inside, someone else is trapped inside your body? Or is it just like, this is fun and sexy to wear? And it, like women get all the fun frilly things, whatever that,
Right.
If it's just that, it might, not if it's just that. Don't let me minimize that at all. But that is a different type of conversation.
Yeah.
Different need, I guess. And also just, it's a great time to use therapy as that safe place, but be picky and choosy with the therapist you pick, especially if it's something, like polyamory or cross-dressing or anything like that, where it is maybe a little taboo or different.
Yeah.
You have to have a very, very open-minded, very, very prepared therapist.
Someone who has experience working with similar clients to you.
100%. I mean, I wish all therapists were equal. They are not. And don't be afraid to fire a therapist and go to someone else if it's not working out. I think that's so helpful and so important to point out.
Any therapist worth their salt will give you a free consult so that you can at least get that initial impression of, is this going to work? Mm-hmm. But I value therapy so much that even though I have insurance, both of the therapists, or all three of the therapists that I'm working with right now, for myself and other relationships, I'm paying out of pocket for like a ridiculous amount of money out of my budget for therapy. But I've just found that I at least think that it's worthwhile to spend the money and get someone who's really, really good and who you can work through tough stuff with and then graduate out of therapy within months rather than years.
Yes. And there's different types of therapy too. So to be aware, there is long-term therapy, and then there is like, hey, I just need some guidance right now.
Right.
Like I'm really lost right now. But then there's sometimes that maybe it's good to have someone that you continually check in, even if it's once every 6 months or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going
yeah.
to therapy long term, but also if you're not making progress.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there.
that's
I think
all I'm
that's
saying.
great. Yeah. No, there's definitely, if you don't feel like you're making any progress and you're just turning wheels, you need a new therapist.
Yeah.
That's not good there. Well, I can't even say that. I hate to say that, but be prepared.
I'll say it.
What do you want from your therapist? Do you want just someone to have a conversation with? Maybe that's a long-term therapist and you're okay spinning those wheels each time you meet and paying that money. Sometimes that's the healthy conversation that you're looking for, and you're not looking to solve anything. You just need that trust and partnership in someone.
But if you want to enact change, then
Yes. Yeah. You'll need something moving is good. We were talking about therapy and something else came up. Oh no, I lost it. It's okay. Go ahead. Do you have another thought?
I was going to ask Brady to scroll down.
It doesn't go any further.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Oh, it does. Sorry, it stopped earlier when I was trying to scroll it down.
Oh, weird.
All good.
And down further. Thank you.
Is there another page? Are you going to surprise me with another page?
That's the end of the show notes. Thank you. Thank you, Fran. Can we get 2 mice?
I could just give you, for this, you could just have the mouse. Yeah.
Thanks. What happens if I fuck up the recording?
Nothing.
Was there no chocolate, Brady?
I don't know. I text.
Really sad.
Right?
There
After
should
you
be
said
chocolate.
I was like, fuck, I need chocolate. Are we syncing up, Pamela?
I think we might be.
God damn it.
No, I just
Brady's
cut
like,
off of
I'm
mine.
out. I'm out of here. Oh, I don't have one, so I couldn't
Oh,
tell
that's
you.
right. Well, Amanda doesn't have one either, but she's decided she's on my cycle. She's like, damn it, your period is making me cranky again.
I don't have a uterus at all and never have, and I get on my wife's cycle and I get cranky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think Henry gets on her
there's
cycles.
still hormonal shifts for sure.
Hey, by the way, 30 minutes. I know I normally do hand signals, but I've sunk up with my wife and I'm cranky, so I'm just going to tell you.
I do see the time in the corner, so it is nice that you got us this beautiful large screen. Thank you, friend. Appreciate you.
Now can you get us some chocolate, Brady?
Yeah, I'll go get it.
Just go get it.
Yeah. Carry on chatting. I'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on.
This break was brought to you by...
Do we need internet? Are you going to be leaving in your pocket?
No, it's right here.
Okay.
This break was brought to you by Murder Shack Studios. And chocolate.
Chocolate. We have needs. God damn it. Thank you for serving them. You're fantastic.
No, kitty.
You know, sometimes we need that break.
From Brady.
No comment. No, just kidding. It's great. We're talking about healthy communication. And I had another thought. And then I lost it. So that's okay. So let's continue on. But I apologize if I jump in and I'm like, oh, I remember.
Okay, that's all right. We'll just roll with it.
Yes, yeah.
So we did want to talk about a little bit more about the shame surrounding cross-dressing. And there's actually a word for it.
The transvestism.
Yeah, transvestism.
Transvestism is a paraphilia in which an individual experiences recurrent intense sexual arousal from cross-dressing or dressing as the opposite gender, in which that person's urge to do so causes significant distress or impairment in his or her daily life. So this is when you know, like, this is definitely not just an interest. It's, you know, maybe that helpline has been crossed.
Wait, let's be clear. It's
Yes.
not that. So the disorder is not the result of someone's intense desire to cross-dress. It's the shame and fear and, you know, concern about the social implications of that desire.
Yeah.
So if
cross-
you didn't give a fuck and you had that intense desire, it's totally fine.
Yeah. Cross-dressing in of itself is not a disorder. It's when...
Oh, Brady.
Thank you.
Brady brought us chocolate.
Oh,
my
love
God.
it.
So this one in the purple package comes all the way from England.
It does.
And it's like the fluffiest chocolate I've ever had.
Yes.
In bar form. So that's from Ian.
Thank you, Ian.
Thanks, Ian.
I don't know if he listens, but
He doesn't listen.
he might. I don't know.
It's fine.
I'd have to ask.
So we're looking at when it consumes your life so much and it's causing that distress or impairment in your daily. It's like you can't function without it. You can't
Anything in your life that causes that kind of distress or prevents you from
chocolate. Just kidding, Pamela. I'm just kidding. We were still able to carry conversation enough, right?
enough. Yeah. Yeah, but anything that, you know, impairs your life or, you know, like normal life processes is a disorder.
Yeah,
And you should seek help.
Exactly. That's when you know, hey, you definitely need help. But also when you're going through and it's affecting your partnership with somebody, that's really important. Not that this is now so unhealthy, you need that, but it is great to seek out some services. And that's it. That's what it was. It was a service. There are support groups and, you know, meetings for folks who go through this, and they can kind of give you tips. There are Facebook support groups, which are very, you have to be very, very picky and choosy with Facebook support groups with anything that you're looking for, because these are usually, you know, like peer run. It's not like a professional who's commenting and kind of guiding the conversation like a group would, like a psychoeducational group or something that like a therapist would offer. But it's still a decent place to maybe do some investigation. Has someone come up with a tip, or does someone have, you know, some other things that they can say, this is a good way to communicate with your partner, and a resource for your partner who may not understand or may feel fearful or hesitant because they're not sure of the unexpected, and they're like, how far does this drive go? I think like any spouse, any partner would kind of feel like that. I think just the need for anything, it'd be like, cool, yeah, I'm so happy to support you. But then if it's like more, it's like, is there an end to this need? I'm worried, you know, because I don't understand it, or is there a point where we do need to be worried? Because I don't know. I'm not aware of it or anything. It's and how.
Yeah, having that community support and realizing that you're not the only one on either side of that equation, right? You're not the only one with this drive. You're not the only one who's partnered with somebody with this drive. Yeah, is absolutely huge. Because it is such a taboo topic, and people I think feel really isolated around it.
Yeah. Taboo topic. I think that's a really important to talk about as well, because that's the social. When you open that, do you mind getting me a piece? Thank you.
Not at all.
Just got my chocolate bitch over here. No, just kidding. That was Brady. Thanks, sweets. Really, just being aware. Thank you. That cross-dressing in itself. Thank you. I'm getting chocolate handed to me as I'm talking. That's why I'm saying thank you. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, you know what's happening. If you're just listening to us, can impact your social life. And I love that what some of the research we were looking at also said, like your bank account, like being aware if you have 2 wardrobes, fucking women's panties, like high quality, are not cheap.
It's so
and
true.
because you have a
I don't
whole
wear
client closet. Well, no, but you purchase them for your clients.
Oh yeah, our client closet, like that lingerie is so ridiculously expensive. We have panties that originally cost like $100
Fuck
pair?
off.
for one pair of panties.
Did I ever tell you this?
But I get them on sale.
It might be a different time to tell this story, but did I ever tell you the Victoria's Secret story about this is like one of the first steps towards my first divorce?
No.
Was buying underwear at Victoria's Secret. It wasn't underwear, it was a swimsuit. But my ex-wife wanted to buy this swimsuit, and I didn't look at the price tag. And she just was like, yeah, I can't afford it. And I was like, oh, you know what? Well, I'm going to surprise her. So I figured out her size, and I ordered it online. And Lee was going to show up while I was gone. And I was tracking the package, and I was really excited to be like, hey, check the mail. There's something there for me. And so I spent $80 on this swimsuit. Or what I
It was
thought.
about 3 square inches of fabric.
Yeah, I thought it was a swimsuit. All I bought was the bottoms. I
was
didn't
gonna
know you had to pay for both parts. And I was in so much trouble for not knowing you got to pay for both parts. So it would have been
$80 for the bottoms?
for the bottoms. So it would have been $160, maybe more, for the complete set. But I fucked that whole thing up. Or I bought the tops and not the bottoms. I don't remember which.
So she was mad at you for trying.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Brady.
It's a step towards the end.
But thank you. The
I never
great
tried those
example
ones
for
on.
the expense.
Yeah.
I should have tried those ones on since I paid for them.
But that is a good illustration of just how absurdly expensive women's lingerie and under
$160 for a swimsuit.
Yeah.
Dude, like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm going to give a little lingerie recommendation for our cross dressers out there who are maybe spending too much at really high end places. I buy a lot of stuff for my client closet from Shein or Shein. It's SHEIN.com. They have lingerie in sizes like extra small to 5X, which is really unusual, especially if you're like a plus size cross-dresser. It's just, I mean, just in general, it's difficult to find lingerie in anything above an XL.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, it all comes from China. I know. And it takes a little while to get here. Like the shipping's slow, but the prices are phenomenal. And some of the lingerie is really
quality.
Yeah, it's decent quality. It's not like the highest quality.
Yeah.
If you want really high quality stuff, then just buy fewer pieces and shop at places like Honey Burdette and This'll Inspire. That stuff will last forever. But Shein, you could have an absolutely huge closet of lingerie for a decent price. So just my little
Shein. Yeah, because
I'll bet it's Shein.
It's probably Shein.
I'm
Because
going to
the
say
material sheens or has a sheen.
because she is in sexy clothes.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's a play on words.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Obviously, I can't speak normal. I can't speak speak English.
Anomic aphasia.
Let alone fucking read it off of a screen sometimes. So don't ask me how to pronounce things. I really am an educated individual. Like I said, I'm better at writing.
Me too.
And to get those degrees, typically you write. You don't need an oral presentation. So, although I might have rocked that anyway if I had to. I did not blowjob my way into my degrees.
I might have rocked that anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Good job,
innuendos.
Mariah.
Oh, speaking of, I don't know if we're done with this topic, but I just want to know how the tally is going for our sex. What did we decide to call
Sex
it?
resolutions.
Sex resolutions. Okay.
I'm up 1, so total of 8.
And I just found out that if I use a dildo and a natural penis, that it's half a point. So I'm gonna get on that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're meeting her halfway with that.
I love that. I love that someone else in your life is trying to find you loopholes.
Well, we had our
patrons.
We had our live Q&A with our patrons, and one of our patrons suggested I should get half a point, and I said thank you.
If someone wanted to be a patron, where would they go?
Patreon.com/saltysexcast. We are adult content, so you will have to check the little box that says you're 18 or over. But I promise, like, we're decent adult content. We're not the bad kind.
What's the bad
Like, you're not
look
going to get, like,
That sounded judgy.
assaulted as soon as you click, yes, I'm 18. Just, I don't know. Unless you want that. I don't know.
That sounds like the Salty Sex
really,
Cast
really
only
judgy,
fan.
Mariah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like where this is going.
Well, sometimes I'm really scared to click that. I'm like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, you don't click that box and then all of a sudden a dick pops out of the screen.
Yeah, or it takes you to
I
the
get
dark
enough
web
of
where
those,
someone tries
so-
to sell you into sex slavery.
Right. I'm all of a sudden getting like offered things that I'm like, no. You know, all the like the crazy pop up sex things that like the ads that used to pop
Yeah.
up on like old computers, right? Like sometimes I'm just scared that as soon as I hit yes, it's out there. Now that
on your screen,
like, I don't know. I'm like,
You're just
no,
like, shit, they all just popped up at once.
I'm gonna get a virus.
Someone just sent me a package of pre-com. Like, what the fuck? It's like on its way and I can't stop it. FedEx won't take it back.
Oh, yeah. Do you need pills to enlarge in your penis? Sometimes that happens. Like all of a sudden I just get like a shit ton of emails about that. And I was like, fuck. Someone sold my info. Anyway.
Because you have a little penis?
Yeah, how do
Because
they know
I
about your
checked
little
the
penis?
box that I'm 18. I'm just kidding.
And that means you have a little penis?
I promise that won't happen on Patreon. That's what I'm just trying to say, everyone. You're safe with us. We will protect you and your information. We will only use it to send you thank yous and
And
invitations.
some sexy pictures sometimes.
You get sexy photos for being our patron. And you get to join us for monthly live Q&As that we just chat about things.
Oh, I just took some
And you might-
new nudes with Mateusz.
You did. I saw those.
I
I mean,
can
I
send
saw
those to
the
you.
censored version.
Yeah, I'll send you the fuck censorship version
Okay.
of that one. You can post it.
They are beautiful. They look fantastic. I'm like, that headdress, like the crown, the headpiece, whatever it is. Like, damn, just looks hot.
Patreon.com/saltysexcast.
Thanks, Brady.
Yes. So you get a half a point for getting double penetrated with one half, like for the two that are there, one half for real.
Yeah.
Yes. You get the half point is just for the real one. But you have to be double penetrated.
Okay.
I don't know.
So would I get like a half
My
point
logic.
if I got to eat pussy but she doesn't come?
No.
Okay.
Don't eat my pussy unless you're going to be down there till I come. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't let me eat your pussy unless you're ready to come.
Okay. Well, that's what I did.
It goes both ways.
I did tell Justin that, and he was like, because I was like, you know what? Can you please eat me out like until I come? Because it's been a minute, and we've both been kind of sick and lots of travel. Anyway, and so he's like, do you want me to eat you out? And I was like, no, I got to ride your dick for a minute. Like I got like you can't just like jump in there and expect me to come. Like I want like some pregame my vagina. Like
The pregame is penetration.
well, I mean, like
That sounds backwards, doesn't it?
does.
I'm fucking confused
yeah.
over
we
here.
were making
doing mental
out, and I was doing the
gymnastics.
whole like slip and slide on the shaft to try to get it all wet.
Fucking bizarro universe over there.
I don't know where
And
I
then I
am
was like,
anymore.
no, yeah.
Superman's a bad guy.
So I actually do have some news I forgot to tell you guys. So I've mentioned the O shot before.
Yeah, did you
I
get it?
got it.
Okay, how the fuck was it?
It was fucking awful.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great. It
was
doesn't sound like it feels
so
great, is what I'm saying.
Painful. So everyone I had talked to who's gotten it was like, oh, it's no big deal. They numb you with some numbing cream, and then it's like, you know,
Is it
local
worth it?
anesthetic, and you can't feel much. That was such bullshit. They did put a local anesthetic on me. Or a numbing cream, and then they injected me with the local anesthetic, and that was the most painful part. They inject you right at the root of your clit.
Oh, that makes me hurt. Like my
Oh, it made me hurt too. And then they inject it up at like inside your G spot. I hate calling it that because it's whatever, but you'll know what I mean if I say it. And
The
that was fine. Like that didn't really hurt too badly, but it was like the most acutely painful thing I've experienced in some time.
Ugh.
And then for the
especially
next
when you're
2
not mentally prepared for that because everyone was
because
like,
everyone was like, it's
not that
fine.
bad.
Yeah. So I really wasn't. And then for the next 2.5 days after I urinated, it was so painful. I mean, there wasn't just like, you know, a few seconds of pain after I urinated. There was like 2 minutes of pain after I urinated. It felt like that. Maybe it was only a minute, but it was long. Like,
Did it ever pay off?
so I think it has started paying off is the thing because they said it would take a couple of weeks before I noticed results, but this weekend I have had the most insane orgasms. I have been like screaming. I mean, I always scream, but I have been like screaming loud enough to scare the neighbors.
Ah,
"Ooh,
Yeah.
like cops show up and you're like, oh no, it's cool. Like it's consensual.
Yeah, no one's being murdered. Yeah, it's been really good.
remind our listeners what the O shot is." So they take your
Sure.
blood through
They-
a centrifuge.
Right. So it's platelet rich plasma. That's what, so they get the platelets, or the plasma from your blood in a centrifuge, and then they mix it with a solution of something else. I can't remember. I have information on it at home.
The trust drug, isn't it?
So it's not just
No.
you. It's not just your own homegrown things. They're also putting something else in there.
That's right.
Okay.
They're mixing it with something else, so it's quite a lot of fluid that they then inject into you, and it sends a signal to your body that it needs to repair that area, and so it does all of this kind of like nerve damage repair.
So then you're just heightened, more sensitive,
so you're
more
mo-
blood
Yeah.
flow.
So this shot has actually been shown to be pretty effective for incontinence, but they've also said that like 80% of women experience an increased sexual pleasure. I've also heard the opposite from my OBGYN. She told me that they stopped doing the O shot for that reason. They only do it for incontinence now because they just didn't see amazing results. But it was worth
the try.
it was worth the risk to me. It was kind of pricey, but I had also heard just enough anecdotal evidence that I was like, I really want to try just to see. So I might be blowing my money.
Do it for the
but-
listeners.
Yeah, I'm doing it for you guys. Just kidding. I went through all that pain for you. But anyway, I will let you know on the next episode because definitely 2 weeks will have passed at that point. And and then they say 2 weeks you start to notice something, and then or 2 to 3 weeks, and then about 2 to 3 months is when you really know like what the full results are. So,
When your body's done its job going
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. All right. I appreciate you sharing that because I am curious and love all those different types of therapies and resources out there for people who are going through or didn't realize that there's so many resources out there when, you know, you want to experiment or looking for a different answer than, sorry, female orgasm really isn't necessary. So we just don't worry about it. When every 5 minutes on the radio, I'm hearing a men's ad to get on testosterone and come see the men's clinic. And I'm like, fuck you guys and your whiny little, I'm just kidding. But you're like, it just kind of pisses me off a little bit because it is disproportionate on resources and how important the orgasm is for everyone.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know whether my results this weekend are psychosomatic. Mm-hmm. Also, I don't care.
Yeah.
Or to just getting stabbed with a needle promote that healing.
Yeah, right.
Right.
But like, who fucking cares why it's working? The fact that it's working. I listened to a podcast about this where they did some studies on the placebo effect, and it seems that even when someone is aware that they're taking the placebo of the drug, they still see similar results.
Mind.
I'll send you a cool link.
A strong thing.
Yeah.
I'll send you a cool link to a video about that. But it's like there's actually placebo blocking drugs too.
Yeah, you've brought that up a couple times before. Yeah.
So my little girl skinned her knee at school last week. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, oh, my knee hurts. Like she was just looking for some attention. And so we just gave her a placebo. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, let me get your placebo. I'm like, she doesn't know what a placebo is. So I was just like, I'll get your placebo. And then just like rub something on there. And she was like, oh, it works great. It's amazing. And then just like dances out of the room.
Yeah. That's what the mom kiss is.
Yeah.
The magic mom kiss.
Or the magic
Placebo.
Band-Aid.
Let me kiss it.
Oh, yes.
Like Henry's daughter is obsessed with Band-Aids.
Oh,
And
there always is a
anytime,
stage.
like even if she just gets her feelings hurt,
I need a Band-Aid.
Band-Aids fix it.
You do need a Band-Aid.
It's super cute.
I just shoved a bunch of chocolate in my mouth.
Yeah, you got some on your teeth. It's very cute.
Mm-hmm.
So ladylike.
What?
So ladylike.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
We don't talk about that.
We don't do that, Brady.
We don't do what?
Call things ladylike.
Oh. Why don't we?
Fuck that.
Why does the sex determine how I act?
It doesn't.
Okay.
But it's it's the use of the word.
You're gonna say colloquial.
Colloquial. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who fucks up the
I
English
just
language.
anomic aphasia'd myself, but
But
I'm trying to be better.
all good.
I'm just not catching up as fast as everybody else.
We'll tell you real fast.
we'll call you out.
You're good.
Everybody calls me
But
out.
that's what's helpful when your friends do call you out, because then you're more aware.
Yeah, I don't want to be told to act like a lady. I want to be called a dirty whore sometimes.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. But not a lady.
I don't think I've ever legitimately told someone to act like a lady.
Well, right. I understand that there's usually in context of humor, but when you grow up as a little girl, being told constantly to behave like a lady, like I was, by my very old
that
parents,
would be miserable.
I just don't find it funny anymore.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of us out there like that.
Yeah. Man up.
My daughter
Brady.
said, yeah, okay.
No.
I will. Thank you for letting me know I needed to.
Yeah, I don't get it. Act like a lady or man up. That does.
Yeah. I think we need to put all those terms to rest.
I wonder what the
that'll
difference is
help
where I didn't take offense to that.
Yeah. And I think just even calling that stuff out now and kind of being fully aware can also help people like our listener L.
Yeah.
And having those gender crossing norms be now normal. Maybe not normal, but more widely accepted and understood, where you get to be yourself with the person you trust the most, with your partner. If whether or not you want to keep it behind closed doors and in the bedroom or not, just having those conversations, telling people, educating people, making them aware.
Right? That's how you normalize these things in society, is you talk about them. If you're brave enough to talk about it with not just your partner, but also your friends or, other people in your circle, that is the first step to normalizing it and making it safe for everyone to be exactly who they want to be and how they want to be.
Yeah. That's why, thank you for listening to the podcast. You have listener, whoever you are that's listening right now, and also our listener L, being fully aware of what's going on and giving us a listen and increasing your awareness of what's going on. And thank you, Brady. Thank you for our chocolate today.
You're welcome.
I hope you haven't been able to hear me burping for the last 5 minutes.
I've heard a couple rappers, but
rappers were loud.
That's it.
I've got a Mariah burp reel going. Like whenever the microphone's on and she doesn't realize it,
Yeah.
I've been saving them.
It's fantastic.
It's up to like 8 minutes.
So if anyone has a burp fetish,
lying.
no,
I'm
it's
serious.
not.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
I
And then there's a couple of her going, sorry.
I'm not really sorry.
That's
I don't
my-
give a fuck. Like
That's
my
my-
bodily functions, I don't have to apologize for, but I still do because I'm like, oh, sorry, that was in your ear. It's more like because I
'cause it was
forget the
loud.
mics are on,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh shit. Like it's not like if I kind of turn
don't-
away, but the mic is still there. I'm not burping in your face, but
Yeah.
I'm burping in your ear. Anyway,
I don't think any of the sorries came from you burping. You like screwed something up we were working on and you were like, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So I've been saving all the sorries and all the burps.
Wonderful.
I've got like 8 minutes in a row. Sorry. Burp.
Wow, is
That's
that what I
gonna-
sound like? Is
That's
that
the-
what
That's
you,
going to be our 100th episode. It's going to be an hour of that.
That's-
Mariah's 100 burps?
That's going to go up on Patreon as like bonus footage.
Oh my God,
That's what I was gonna say. If anyone has a burp fetish, like I will burp in your ear. I'll give you a call anytime I'm feeling that brewing.
Oh, dear God.
All right. Well, thank you for staying till the end of the episode today with all of our lovely interruptions and
Nonsense.
but yeah, we're just human. You want the mouse? You want the clicky, 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 click, click? Again, patreon.com/saltysexcast or saltysexcast@gmail.com that you can email us, and
Check us out on Facebook as well.
thank you. I forgot.
We post some fun things on there.
We do. And I posted recently asking everyone to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. And I did it in the most clever way. And I just was so satisfied with myself with that post. So if you haven't checked out the post asking about that, it's this cute little, you slide into the side of the panties. I said, give us something.
And then,
Surprise us with a review. I
yeah.
can't remember.
And then also leave us a review.
You had to be there.
Please and thank you.
Thank you, Brady.
All right.
All right. I hope everyone has a great week. Stay sexy.
And salty. Bye.
Yeah. And what's puberty?
Puberty? Well, puberty's a lot of things. Here's the piece.
When you hear about it first, it sounds very strange.
Oh, if it really bothers you, you should see a doctor. Then at puberty, certain glands begin to work, and our bodies begin to change. It enlarges the penis itself.
And there's a center opening between those two, which is called the vagina.
The sex education you wish you had in high school.
Maybe a diagram will help.